Listen, if you're not reading, you're going to want to pay attention here because I'm going to cover 5 books that will not just give you the millionaire mindset, but will help you make millions and millions and millions of dollars if you're the kind of person who has the self-discipline needed to sit down, read these cover to cover, and then put some of these lessons into practice in your business. I was able to make my first $1 million in my 20s. I've gone on to become part of the founding team of a multi-billion-dollar company, and I attribute a lot of my success to the fact that I love reading. I read nonfiction. I just recently started getting the physical copies of the books behind me, but I've got an extensive Kindle collection, iBooks collection. I try to read at least 1 to 2 books a week, if not more. And when they're short books like the ones I'm going to show you, in some cases you can finish some of these in a single day. Reading is like having a mentor in your pocket or in your backpack. It's learning from people who are much smarter than you, much further ahead in life. If you just take these simple lessons and apply them to your day-to-day life, I promise you're going to see results. So without further ado, let's get into these 5 books that will give you the millionaire mindset and help you make your first $1 million. Let's start with number 1. This book is called Ego is the Enemy. It's by Ryan Holiday. This is now on my annual reread list. It's an incredible book that talks you through something that we all have, even if you don't think you have it, which is an ego. That ego is what is, in many cases, holding you back from doing the things that are best for you. You may not be starting that company because you're afraid of looking like an idiot. You may not be uploading that picture because you're afraid of what people may say or think about you. You may not be recording that next song or painting that next masterpiece or writing that next book because you care too deeply about what a certain subset of people think. One of my friends used to say, and Ryan Holiday covers this, that most people will have forgotten about you 2 weeks after you die. It's sad to say, but it is true. Don't be living your life for other people. Live it for you. Do the things that make you come alive and kill your ego. I know I've struggled from my ego being my own personal enemy. This book is one that I wish I had. I wish it existed 10 years ago. It didn't, but I'm so happy I found Ryan Holiday. I've recommended this to so many friends. I'm not getting paid for this recommendation. Just take my advice and read this book. I finished this in 3 hours the other day on a flight. This is going to be on the annual reread list. Please give it a look. Let's go into recommendation number 2. I read this in my 20s and it totally changed the way that I work. It changed my productivity. It's important to have a system because today we live in a day where there's distractions coming from left and right and we don't know what to do with all the information we're being hit with. So you need to read this book called Getting Things Done. This book is literally about the art of stress-free productivity. It's written by a guy named David Allen. And what David Allen has done is he's synthesized a system that you can implement in your inbox, in your Gmail account, if that's what you use, in your personal to-do list. And if you don't have a personal to-do list, well, then you're really in trouble. He's going to help you put one in place. Through the Getting Things Done methodology, it is a methodology, it is studied. There's Getting Things Done coaches and teachers online that you can hire that will help you implement this in your personal life and in your business. It's a famous methodology that you can implement to take away all that stress. Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night stressing, frantically thinking, did I get that done? Oh my gosh, I forgot to do this. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do that. This book is your answer. Stop what you're doing, write this down, read this book. I promise you, you will not regret it. It will help give you clarity, peace of mind, focus, and it will help you become a more productive working person. I also wish I read this one when I was like 10 years old. It would have helped me a lot in high school and my teenage years. I did not have a good productivity system, but I'm happy I eventually did read it. Read this one. That was number 2. This is recommendation number 3. I'm not even going to hype this one up because this one is so basic. It's called Discipline is Destiny. And yes, it's also by Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday has quickly become one of my favorite authors. This book is about the power of self-control. A lot of people say, I just didn't have the motivation, which is why I didn't work out. Man, I just wasn't feeling inspired. Screw that. Screw your inspiration. Screw your motivation. The most successful people in the world are able to summon self-control and, as a result, self-discipline. It's what helps get them up every single day before the sun rises into the gym, callousing their body and thus their mind, helping them accomplish tasks that most of us only dream of accomplishing because they have self-discipline. discipline. Don't focus on the mountain. Focus on the single small steps you can take on a day-to-day basis, and that's what this book is about. Summoning that stoicism that our ancestors, the ancients, the Greeks, Marcus Aurelius wrote about, Aristotle wrote about. It's about being stoic in your thinking and having self-control and not letting your success or your lack of success or where you're at in life or the other things that you can't control get to you, but showing up every day. Small, consistent wins. Do the things you don't want to do daily. And we need a little bit more of that stoic mentality in 2023 and in 2024, now more than ever. This is recommendation number 3. Give it a look. One of the best books. You'll also be able to finish this in a day or two. Recommendation number 4. And it's coming to you from one of my favorite bloggers who is now a best-selling author, but I used to read his blog 10 years ago. This is James Clear's Atomic Habits. Our thoughts become our words, and our words become our actions, and our actions become our destiny, our reality, what we do on a day-to-day basis. What James Clear has distilled down in this book is the ability to reduce friction and create systems for forming new habits. If we are what we repeatedly do, and we just become what we repeatedly do, and that this self-discipline to just do those small consistent wins, well, then it's important that we stop the bad habits and replace them with good habits. And that's where this book comes in. We'll show you how to replace drinking alcohol for hydrating with electrolytes and water. It will show you how to replace skipping the gym with going on a walk or actually getting into the gym. It will show you how not stressing about the entire workout, but just getting on the treadmill for 1 minute and then 2 minutes and then 3 minutes and 5 minutes will help you work up the reps and the consistency required to create life-changing, long-lived habits. If you've ever said to yourself that you're not a self-disciplined person, you're not a motivated person, you're not a person who's able to go to the gym every day, read this book. It will help you implement habits and give you a system for implementing habits such that you'll actually be able to stick with the things that you commit to. This is a must read. That was number 4. And finally, number 5 on this list. This is recommendation number 5. I promise you, this book is a book that no one has recommended, but it is one of my favorite books. I read this multiple times per year. I have the audiobook and this book. It is by Steven Pressfield, and it is called The War of Art. It's about breaking through your inner blocks, but what Steven Pressfield talks about is something that you've experienced, and I've experienced, all of us experience. It's this universal force called resistance. And resistance presents itself just before you achieve everything you've wanted to achieve. It's the thing that presents itself right before you start cramming and studying for that final exam, or right before you sit down and write that report. It's that thing that stops you from doing that creative endeavor, from sitting down and writing the book, from looking at the blank sheet of paper and trying to fill it with words. It's the thing that stops you from going to shoot that movie, start that business, upload that photo. It's that thing, that resistance, and he talks about how to overcome it, how to summon that inner strength and break through those blocks and win your inner creative battles. It is so well written. I know so many successful artists have benefited from this, but it's not recommended enough in entrepreneurial circles, in circles of people who are trying to start their next venture, who are trying to build an internet business, and who are trying to make their first $1 million. Starting a business is a creative endeavor. It's starting something from scratch, coming up with a brand, coming up with a product, getting product market fit, marketing it, communicating it, doing customer support. Every aspect of this can be differentiated and requires inner creativity. And even if you're not creative, you still struggle from resistance, whether you realize it or not. Read this book. That's number 5 on this list. Those are the top 5 books that I recommend. If you read these books, if you can find the time to sit down and go through these books, Ego is the Enemy, Getting Things Done, Discipline Equals Destiny, Atomic Habits, and this one over here, The War of Art, I promise you that these books will not just help give you that millionaire mindset, but if you read these things cover to cover, they will help you make millions and millions and millions of dollars, because you will have built the mental fortitude and the strength required to actually do it. We're lifelong learners here. I'm a lifelong learner, very much a work in progress, and I do not claim to have it all figured out. But what I do have figured out is that I've got to kill my ego. I've got to have that self-discipline. And these are concepts I've learned in this book. If you like content like this, please give this video a like. Please consider subscribing. I'm going to be creating more videos like this. And I want to hear from you in the comment sections. Have you read any of these books? What are your thoughts on them? If you haven't read them, which one are you going to start with first? I'll see you in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like. Make sure you also subscribe. And for more videos just like this, go check out this video
over here.